Hello everybody, this is Kysen here and welcome back to another episode here on the Let's Play series. Now as you can see, I am today at the pirate ship to start this episode off, and I've got kind of a different sort of project in mind for today, and that is what I want to do is mark out the spawn chunks. Now I've been doing a little bit of work on this off camera, and I'll show you now what I've been doing. And as you can see in my inventory there, had a lot of the lime green stained glass on me. And what I'm thinking is we could make a bit of a border around the spawn chunks with this glass and just kind of mark out where those spawn chunks are. I thought the glass would be good because it would kind of look like a force field, because it is the see-through effect of it with the coloured effect of it combined should look pretty good. So as you can see, we're coming up to a marker here, a bit of a T marker, and these I've placed on the four corners of my spawn chunks. There's a thing in the middle there and then the other markers. So this is the area. Let's go up onto this hill here and we can have a look at the area in a little bit more detail. To be honest, it's not the best of spawn chunks, but not the worst either. There's mountains and rivers and trees and things, and if it had been in a plains and been a very flat area, that might have been better in terms of the builds that we could do. But I don't know, I think if I do it right with these kind of things we have here with these mountains and things, then maybe we can get it looking pretty good. And if I just go back over here and show you how far out this goes, and some of this is also in the sea, so you can see there those two corners, there's going to be a big chunk there that's just in the ocean. But yeah, I mean, I think, like I say, we can work with this. And talking about working with this, you might be wondering why I'm working on the spawn chunks and what we're going to do. Well, there's a couple of ideas that I've had. Now, for those of you that don't know, the spawn chunks are always loaded. So always loaded when you're on the world, I should say. So even if I'm on the world and I'm thousands of blocks away, these will still be loaded. And if I had something here, like a farm or something, it would continue to work even though I wasn't around. So that's very cool, and it leads to some awesome types of projects that you can do here. One of which is an iron farm. And that, I think, is what we're going to get started on today. I don't think I'll finish it today because this is going to be quite a big build, as you'll see once we get into it. But yes, the iron farm I think would be a great idea. The other thing you can do is when items go through your end portal, they're supposed to come out in the middle of the spawn chunk. So roughly where the stone thing is there, if I zoom in, you can see there's 4 stone blocks. That's roughly where I would expect them to come out in the middle. And so you can also make end item transportation systems where, for example, from an enderman farm, I could get all the ender pearls to go through the end portal and come up here, and then maybe just have them auto stored or something. So I think the iron farm is the best thing to do first, because once I do that, I will have a lot more potential of building many more beacons, I should say, and also going around to the beacons that we already have and swapping out the gold and the diamond blocks there for iron blocks. So that'll be pretty awesome, and that's one of the main reasons I want to do this, because I do want to get a lot more beacons set up. So the question now is, where do I want to build this? And the reason I'm up on this mountain is I thought this might be a cool place to do it. So if I chose a level that's maybe this level, or the level I'm stood on, maybe somewhere around this sort of height, and flatten the top of this mountain, get rid of any mobs and anything else that's here, and then build a bit of an iron titan up here on the sky, I think that might be really cool, because it's kind of then sort of elevated up like this. And an iron farm, let's face it, is a pretty special Minecraft build. I'm very excited about having one. I've never done one before, so I definitely want this one to look good and to feel like it is special and a bit amazing, really, to just have that unlimited iron once they're up and running, you know. And as such, I think being placed on top of a mountain would be a great way of doing that. So what I'm going to do now is, first of all, I'm going to go mark out all the borders with this this green glass stuff, which might be a bit tricky because there are, as I say, mountains and things in the way, but I'll see how I go with that. I'll just like a bit of a rough guide as to where the spawn chunks are, and it'll make it a lot easier when I'm planning out the building of this iron farm or anything else that I indeed do here in the future. So I'm going to mark out the borders and do a bit of flattening up there if that's where we do decide to build it once I've marked this place out, and then we'll start talking about how we're going to do the iron farm and what it will look like. Well, I just came back to the base here, the storage area and the cave area and all that stuff. I just needed to pick up some materials. I've got some red clay here and some ladders that I needed. And now we're going to head back over to the iron farm area and the spawn area, where there's some things going on. I've been doing a bit of building off camera, so I thought I'd give a bit of an update, and we'll talk about how this iron farm is going to be put together. So a couple of things that I did off camera, as you can see here, I've done the force field going around the outside. If I fly up in the air a bit here, then you'll see what I'm talking about, this green glass that borders the spawn trunks on all four corners. So they are now marked out, which is pretty cool. This thing up right here, this weird looking thing, is my workstation, and I've also lit up the area here. That right there is a packed ice farm. Not a packed ice farm, sorry, just a normal ice farm. There's no such thing as a packed ice farm. As you can see, just get all my ice here like this. Very simple design. It's basically just a way of me getting ice for this project, so it's just a temporary build. But it will be easier for me to carry around the ice and then break that to make the water, rather than carrying around loads of water buckets. So yeah, now if we go up here, and I've built a ladder, but ender pearling just generally is a lot easier. The ladder's just in case I forget my ender pearls, and yeah, just if I'm not being lazy, then I can use them. Now I needed ladders just to complete this, and this is basically going to be the center of our farm. Why will that not place there? That was weird. Yeah, so it'll be the center of our farm, and essentially the iron farm is going to be up in the air at this height and above. Now we are close enough to the spawn chunks where I'm not going to be wasting space, but far enough away that it will still be all contained within the spawn chunks on these borders, the closest borders here, so that's good. Now as far as this goes, this is just a bit of a work area with a bed, obviously keeping the mobs away. The white hardened clay is the main material I'll be building this out of, so I've got a lot of that. And the red hardened clay is going to be my secondary material, so I just went and got some of that just a second ago. Then we have a chest here just for random bits and bobs, and some glass because I'll probably need a lot of glass as well. So I've got quite a lot of materials up here. I also had a big sort out of my redstone chest, so I've organised this now and stocked up on one or two things because I will need some redstone for this build, and it was looking a bit messy. So we're just about ready to get started on doing this build now. I need to just think about the concept of this a little bit because it is going to be a big build, and it is important that you get it right from the start. So pretty certain that that is going to be a good center point for it in terms of not being not going outside of the spawn chunks, and I do like having it up here on the mountain. I've got some plans for the rest of the spawn area later on into the game, and being up here I will not sort of coincide with those plans. So it's a pretty good place for it. It's just a case of double checking a few things, and once I'm happy we will get started on the build. Well guys, as you can see here, the platform for the building of this Iron Titan is now complete. Now just on the point of how to build this, this is obviously not like a tutorial on how to do this, and this is Tango Tech's design, so what I'll be doing is linking that in the description to this video, and I believe this will probably be over at least 2 parts, so if that's the case then the link will also be in the next video that I do. So if you need to learn how to build it or whatever, that's how you do it. But as you can see, the platform is now complete. That's the basic structure to get us started. This is only a temporary structure, so I nearly lost it there, but it does the job. You get these different markings and things, which is explained in the tutorial because of different blocks that you place later on. But yeah, it's done. Quite happy with that now. So the next thing I need to do is choose a material to build the actual structure out of. So this is obviously temporary, but the permanent blocks that are going to be staying here, I need to figure out what I want to build them out of. So I was thinking I'm going to have a look and see how many bones I've collected in my mob grinder, and possibly build it out of bone blocks. So I think that will look quite good. So we're going to head back to the base now, look at how to build that. Now I will also need some marker blocks, but I think I'll carry on using the red clay for now because I think the white and the red will probably look quite good together. So yeah, we'll use the bone blocks, hopefully, if I've got enough. I think I do. Pretty sure there's a lot of bones that have built up. I haven't been in there in a while to take any out, so it should be okay. And then if that is the case, it will be the bone blocks and the red clay that we'll use for the next part of the building process. So let's just go and have a look here and see what we have. And I think, well, it's 9, every 9 makes 1 bone, every 9 bones makes 1 bone block, right? So we've got, yeah, we've got loads. So I'm going to go and make up a whole load of bone blocks out of all this stuff, and then get back to the building of this Titan, and I'll catch up with you guys once I've got a bit more of the building work done. Alrighty guys, well as you can see from the last time I did an update, I have been cracking right on with building this thing. It's taken a long time, but to be honest with you, it hasn't felt like it. I don't know why, just kind of got into it, put some music on, And yeah, it's been going okay. Been following the tutorial as well on how to build it, and I have to say it's a great tutorial, makes things very simple, so that's awesome. As I said, that will be linked in the description. I just thought now was a really good time to do an update for two reasons. One, because I have done quite a bit off camera, so I thought I'd just show you what I've been doing, and we can have a little look around what's been going on up there. And two, because the next stage is the one I'm really least looking forward to of this whole build, and I'll explain why in just a second. As you can see, I've extended the work platform out here a bit just to make getting up and down very easy. But yes, so we now have a roof, kind of three roofs, I guess, with the two on the sides and the higher one in the middle. Now I've made it that high for now, which is the height that it needs to be if you're building two or more of these platforms, these Titan farms. So there's the 32 village one and the 64 village one, I believe. Whatever it is, anyway, I'm going to start by just doing the first level, but it's going to be high in case I need to extend it in the future or if I want to. Now, this whole area has been lit up. I always say lit, and I'm sure it's not a word, I don't know why I say it, but you know what I mean. There is now light across this whole area, so mobs will not spawn here at night time. Now, the glowstone will be permanent, and that will be part of the farm. The torches here in the middle will not be permanent, I don't believe, but they're just here for now to make sure that nothing spawns. Similarly, these platforms out here, I've added a little area around them so that I can easily get to these areas, because I'll be needing to place all the doors along here, and I've also lit them up as well. So it's looking pretty cool. Obviously it's not finished yet, but you know, I think it's an awesome looking build. I think the best view is actually the view that I started this little clip with down on the ground when you look up at it. Now I'll just show you something across here. I've got some blocks on me. I'll use these. I've built these areas here. You might have seen them and been wondering what these are. There's one here and one on the other side. This is to hold villagers, and this is the bit I have to do next. The bit I'm really not looking forward to. I think it's the bit that if anyone ever does this, this is the bit they're not looking forward to, and the long, tedious, boring bit. So in each of these, I need to get about 21 villagers, which obviously is quite an effort, because if we just run to the edge here, all of the villagers of course are at ground level, so I have to get them up here. That's the first thing. Not too bad, I can just make an elevator, but not exactly, you know, the most enjoyable kind of thing, just a bit of a monotonous process. And then I have to get them over into this area. So yeah, wish me luck with that, guys. Most of that, probably all of that, I'll be doing off camera in just a moment, and I'm not sure how much further I'll get today, whether I'll even get through getting all these villagers here, because it is going to take such a long time. I am kind of lucky in that I've got my villager breeder, so I need to go and get that working again. Unfortunately, what I had done is killed a lot of the villagers in the villager breeding area manually, so now they don't want to breed, and I have to go over and be nice to them for a few days. I'm going to look on the wiki about the quickest way to do that, but you basically have to have a good reputation with them, otherwise they won't breed. But I would say I can probably get a good 10 or 15 in here, and then it's going to get to the boring part where I have to breed and wait and breed and wait and all that stuff. So I'm going to go and make a start with creating all the stuff to get the villagers in here, and I'll see how long that takes me and give you a bit of an update once some of that process is underway. Well, one slight problem I've been having, guys, is that I was very low on gold. When I looked in my chest, I had about 6 gold ore and 3 gold ingots, which is really not very much at all. And what I need is all of this powered rail. So as you can see in here, I've been going through and I've been stealing all of the powered rail from in here. So I'm just doing this last bit right now. And there's another area that I'm going to go to after this and steal more from. And I've dropped down here into my little redstone area now. So, you know, when you guys thought that this here was just a project that I hadn't finished, it's actually just that, you know, had the foresight, the inkling to leave this alone, because I knew I'd need this powered rail at a later date. No, I didn't, of course, but I am quite glad that I am able to use that. Let's put all of this stuff back on. So, yeah, the issue is that this is my villager breeder here, and I did consider making a new one, but it just seemed like a little bit of a waste, because this one is functional. We've got 10 villagers in here stored up, and I'll be stealing some of this powered rail in a moment as well. And also, the whole time I'm transporting these, the mob drops are becoming, which is useful because the bone blocks that I needed are quite expensive for making out of the bones that I get from there. So I'll replace some of that while I'm around here. and these guys can also be breeding whilst I'm at this end doing the transportation stuff. As you can see, we've got a little guy here right now, and for those of you that haven't seen this episode before, once he grows up, he gets taken into the water stream here and into a minecart system and goes sort of around the back here. There's a whole episode on it if you're interested, but essentially I've just been trying to get as much powered rail as I can, because this is quite away from spawn. I mean, it's not like thousands of blocks or anything like that, but it is hundreds, and when it comes to rail, yeah, it's quite a way to go with all the hills and things in the way. So what I've done is I've spread out the powered rail as much as I possibly can. I've placed one after every 16th block. I believe that's just about enough. I did figure if a villager gets stuck, I can always come and push them over certain bits, or maybe amend certain bits as we go along. I'm just trying to get up this hill right now though, and I pretty much just build with powered rail when going up a hill, because trying to get the balance right can sometimes be tough. So once we get up here though, I think just a couple of those should be enough, and then we'll get back to the normal rail. I do have quite a lot of normal rail on me, as you can see, so trying to use as much of that as I can. And it's quite nice, we've got a bit of a downhill here now, and in fact I might create a couple of extra downhill areas. So I'm going to crack on with doing this, and basically trying to get a load of villagers over into the Iron Titan, and then we can get on with the rest of it. So I'll crack on with what I'm doing here, and then give you guys a bit of an update when we've made a bit more progress. Well guys, desperate times do call for desperate measures, and unfortunately I am just really short of gold and iron as well. I'm completely out of powered rail, and I've only got a little bit of the normal rail left. And seeing as I'll be replacing all of these blocks with iron blocks once the Titan is done, yeah, I need to steal these gold blocks. And some iron blocks as well probably. And not just here, but I'll probably need to go to the other beacon as well. The one that's over in the mesa. Just see if there are any more gold blocks here, and there are. Awesome. So I will be without a beacon for a little while around here, but it's not really important, because I won't be doing anything much at all around this area, or indeed in the mesa, until the Iron Titan is complete. And at that time I'll be having... oops. Oh, okay, it's just a little gap. Yeah, at that time I'll have the option to replace all of this with iron, I should say, as well. So yeah, it's just one of those things. I've actually got more gold here than I was expecting, so I'm very happy. Already up to a half stack of these gold blocks, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, hopefully when I harvest this beacon and the next one, I'll have enough gold and iron to finish the project, because if I do have to go mining, it's just going to slow things down quite a lot, and I'd rather not have to do that. But I am making quite a mess here, aren't I? So let's have a look. Let's get a few of these iron blocks as well, and then I will go up to the other beacon and do the same. Well guys, I just turned all of the gold that we got from that first beacon there into the powered rail, and I'll just show you a second actually. We've got 6 stacks of it here, which is, yeah, brilliant, quite a lot more than what I thought we were going to get. And I'll just go now and show you how far the railway has got to. And I'm thinking that the 6 stacks there that we have, plus a bit of spare iron and gold, and indeed some normal rail, will hopefully be enough. So you see the railway zigzags along the river here like this. And that lovely site there, that lovely green site, tells me that we are close to the border, and this is going to hurt. Ow. So, yeah, I think because that's the border there, and the Titan's just behind it, I'm just going to get them up to near the Titan for now, and then I'm going to have to devise something a bit more fancy, you know, a bit of an elevator system to get them up and into the actual sort of iron making system itself. I can't think of the right word, I guess. It's been quite a long day. This is quite a grinding project. So yeah. So what I'm going to do now is carry this on as normal, which is just a bit of a pattern that I've been doing here, where we go in like an L shape and then place one powered rail. But then once I get to the hill, I'll just shoot them right up the hill there, and then we'll see how much powered rail we've got left at the end. I will also make the whole thing faster by replacing rail with powered rail on my journey back. At which time I also need to power all the powered rail, because right now it's been placed but it's not activated. Oh, I fell. That's happened a couple of times. It's really annoying. Well, I'm going to go get myself out of this hole and start carrying on with this project and get this rail done, and then I'll do a bit of a test drive, I'm thinking, on the rail, and we'll have a look together and see if that works. So I'm back at the villager breeding area, as you can see. Got all these villagers waiting to become my iron making factory workers, whatever, I don't know. They're going to be in the Iron Titan, basically. And I just thought I'd try out the railway that I've built, see if it works on my own, and show you guys that as well. So let's jump in here and go. Alrighty. So I thought this would show you the railway. It would show you how far we've come from the villager breeder. Have a little look in there. I was trying to see if there's any babies, but it's pretty hard to tell from there. And yeah, then we should know whether or not our villagers are going to make it. So I've put quite a lot of powered rail in here now as well, as you can see, and I'm hoping it's not going to be an issue. It might be a bit slow. It's certainly not at full efficiency, but that's not really important. All that's important is that they do get from A to B, and the time it takes is neither here nor there really in the scheme of this project. And yeah, I also thought it'd be a little bit of an opportunity for me to talk about something with you guys. So it's been a little while since I've done this episode, and that's just because I've just been very busy with everything really, with work, with real life commitments, and with YouTube commitments, and just, yeah, it's been a crazy time. But I was thinking that if it was something you guys wanted to do, I could look at putting together a bit of a schedule where I did a certain series on a certain time each week, and maybe had a couple of days of the week where it was just a flexible thing where I'll do, Symmetria sometimes, minigames sometimes, Kysen craft sometimes, just depending on what's going on. So if you guys would like to see a schedule and you think that would be useful or whatever, let me know, and I'll look into putting that together in the coming weeks for you guys. But as you can see, we are back at the Titan. It works. The monumental journey is over, and we've got quite a lot of powered rail left over as well, so that's cool. Once this project's over, I will of course get all of this powered rail back, and all the rail and everything else that I built this with. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We're going to have a lot of resources by the end of this. Now, I think the next stage really is I need to get all of the villagers over to here, build an elevator for them, get them up there, put them in the thing, and I need about 42 villagers to get started, I think it was. I need to double check that, but it's somewhere in that region, which basically means a lot of me standing around at the breeder, waiting for 20 minutes for the villagers to breed and grow babies that then grow into villagers, then shipping them off here, and then, yeah, storing them and whatever else. It's going to be a bit of a tedious, long, boring old project really. So because of that, I don't think I'll be doing any of that on camera, and I think this is probably a pretty good place to end today's episode. So let me just see what I've got on me here. I've got to sort out this inventory a bit as well, but for now I'm just going to chuck all my armour on the floor because it's been weighing me down and I'm just feeling a bit heavy. And because I like to say goodbye with my pirate skin. Hello. And it's a pretty good shot, that, the Iron Titan foundations at least in the background. So yeah guys, like I said, let me know if you would like to see the schedule, let me know your thoughts on this project, and as always guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.